and River were at times disjointed from the rest of the team, right? You know, when they were going for that engage on Knight, no one else was really there to follow up. When they were diving mid lane and got countered on that gank, no one else was really there to follow up. And the Cassante is going to get respect banned away, so Licorice gets a solo kill, and they say, you know what, we can't give it to him again.
Yeah, the rest of the bans looking very similar to Game 2. It's Nidalee, Annie, and Aphelios banned out by Golden Guardians. Cassante, Ahri, and Maokai banned out by JDG. The first pick of the draft is the Kennen for the Golden Guardians.
I do like the Gragas as an answer, though. A lot of the times you can just kind of push the wave against the Kennen if you're in the lane, or else you just in the later team fights end up just tossing in the cask, immediately take the Kennen out of the fight, and just have great peel for the backlines. So far, JDG already having a good answer for the Kennen.
Yeah, I just have not really liked Kennen so far in this tournament.
Especially first pick.
I mean, it just really has not worked. But even when it was picked as an answer, I don't think we've seen a strong Kennen game yet in the bracket stage, right? From winning teams or losing teams. It just has not really looked as good. Obviously, it has been mostly Western teams that have been picking it, and they have been losing a lot of games, so it does make it kind of look a little bit worse. But I do feel like the teams here are just on another level as far as marking the Kennen and clearing vision. And if you can't get good TP flanking wards and you're always marked out on those sides, it's so difficult to really make this champion work because Kennen really can't fight front to back. You basically have to come in from an angle and get that perfect flank, but if you're always marked, if they're always aware of where you're coming from, it just doesn't get a lot done.
Well, we've got the Jinx locked in for the Golden Guardians. We saw Stixxay have a better game on the Tristana than he had on the Aphelios. Jinx is much more similar to that Aphelios than she is to the Tristana.
Yeah.
Very limited in terms of mobility, needs protection, needs a front line to be able to play the way that she wants to play this game. And if we're talking about protection, Thresh is a great way to help out champions like this that don't have inbuilt mobility.
It absolutely is, but the engage from Rakan and Gragas is so explosive that it's very difficult to save someone from a Lantern. If you get Body Slam flashed into a Rakan combo, there's no clicking the Lantern, right? And you can easily get ulted away from that Lantern by the Gragas as well. So we'll see, you know, if he can be really on point with the Flays and kind of keeping that space for him.
Also, just the Xayah is such a good answer to what Golden Guardians are going up against, are bringing to the table at the moment. Like, the Kennen tries to go in, Xayah immediately ults herself, keeps herself out of harm's way, even with just being able to follow up so effectively on any of the Rakan engages. Like, Thresh CCs himself if he tries to throw that hook, so immediately you can follow up and go for this.
JDG missed their ban. So I'm not sure if there's going to be, you know, if that was like user error. If it's user error, we just continue. If there was some sort of a glitch that made them miss that ban, maybe we'll have to restart. We'll let you guys know as soon as we find out any info about that. But for now, it is continuing onward, so I have to assume it's just user error on JDG's side, because normally they would stop them before you show any additional bans.
Right, well, they're gonna proceed. So no ban for ban number 4 from the side of JDG. Their final ban of the draft will be Lee Sin, wanting to keep that playmaker away from River. Syndra was banned out by the Golden Guardians because it is one of Knight's favorite champions to play. It is tied for most plays in spring for him with the Ahri at 8, and LeBlanc also banned out now.
It's also historically one of the champions that he showed up on in the most clutch moments. Like in finals, he's had these insane Syndra scatter the weeks that have changed the outcomes of series, but won't be getting to see it. It's a little bit unfortunate as he's incredible on that.
I mean, I hope we get to see a Syndra at some point throughout the tournament. Syndra is really the champion that made me first really fall in love with Knight as a player. You know, I made a Lane Kingdom like piece of content on him playing that champion specifically back in the day. And he is incredible at it, but it is going to be the Kha'Zix. Will River come out with the Rengar as the answer? Oh, come on!
Twice he's baited us now, twice!
It is a rule of League of Legends. We got a lore battle! Rengar and Kha'Zix, get out of here, Sejuani! Get out of here!
All right, I'm down for it. Now they're even hovering. Man, if who he locked Asol, I don't even care anymore.
I mean, this would actually be sick. A Rengar Galio combo would be insane.
Oh,
I'm
I
curious to see
respect
though,
it.
because the last time we saw Rengar at the international stage was SOFM as the counter to the Evelyn back in
That was tank
2020
Rengar.
Worlds. Yeah, and I'm curious if it is going to be the tank Rengar. I imagine you'll probably go for the damage version, especially when you've already got the kind of the backup alongside the Galio, but this is going to be so cool to see.
Yeah, it will be really interesting. I mean, they have quite a bit of damage with the Jinx and the Cannon, but I'm expecting it to be a damage build, or at least like a hybrid damage build. I have seen some people just do things like Boar Drinker into Spirit Visage and stuff like that. So you can kind of go for those like hybrid damage builds where you go for a Bruiser build into tank. Be interested to see how it does work out. It is going to be Knight with the Nautilus mid here. So this is going to be a nightmare game for 6A to play. Every single fight, Gragas, Kha'Zix, Nautilus ulti, Rakan ulti, all are going to be thrown towards this one champion, and it's going to be up to his team to actually create space for him to be able to play the game, which is going to be so tough.
Yeah, everybody that's not ruler has a kill Jinx button
Yep.
on their champion. It's very,
He's gonna
very
have Gale
difficult
Force.
to get away from all of it. Yeah, right. Like, okay, I've got Gale Force. and
Don't
I've
you
got,
dare doubt ruler.
And Thresh is going to try to throw his lamp on me, and that's the only way that Stixxay gets away from all of this. So his work's going to be cut out for him, but I mean, it's up to the rest of the team to be able to try to help him, right? If
Yeah.
Kennen can slicing Maelstrom and just go in, find a nice, really big engage, Galio being able to follow up on top of either a Kennen or a Ringar initiating, because remember, you look at a Galio ulti, you know that it can be used as a counter engage, but it can even more effectively be used to follow up some of your own plays.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting because I do think in a lot of cases, you know, you think about Rengar, you think about, okay, diving deep, going for these picks, but I actually think for Golden Guardians comp, I think they're going to be more effective if they're actually playing counter engage in this game because everyone clearly has to go for Stixxay. The problem is if you're the ones who are initiating the dive, you send in the Kennen and the Rengar and Galio and everything to the back line, they can kind of just have someone get past that and Stixxay can get blown up. But if everyone dives on Stixxay and all of a sudden Licorice drops his ulti and Galio's coming slamming in and they have the Thresh box to deal with, that could make a situation where Stixxay could survive and turn it around.
Also, it just makes it very tough for Ruler to play the fights because you've got the Rengar to worry about. You also got the ultimate from Licorice to worry about. Like, trying to follow up on this engagement was very tough, but JDG want to make it happen early.
I think they're going to run into each other.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Bot
they have no
lane,
idea.
5v5 level 1. Ships in the night, boys. Ships in the night.
Yeah, but where do they recall? This is the key part, is it can get really kind of dicey. Do you do a 5-man recall in the bush? That is the safest play because you have no idea where they are. Looks like JDG are just going to stay and start on the enemy red buff. Is Golden Guardians going to stay and start on the enemy blue buff? This was hilarious.
Yeah, this is quite a turn of events here at the level 1. So close to potentially running into each other, but now just going for the same plan.
And then because you have no vision on top side, you could think that they're just like spread out on the top side, that they're doing counter invade up there. You don't know where the other team is. So now it gets really wacky. What is your jungle path from here? Do you try to full clear the enemy side of the jungle? Do you try to, you know, walk back into your own jungle?
They're going to spot each other.
Okay, now you've got to know. So Gory sees him, and now he has to know. And Gory actually really intelligently hides. Now Knight does spot him. So everyone should have info of where the other is starting, and I'm just really curious to see where they're going to take this. It looks like Kha'Zix is going to go straight bot at level 2, but River's coming as well. We're going to have a 3v3 bot at level 1.
They find the hook.
Oh!
Who he goes in and missing is going to be the target, but River's going to be carefully flashes away to stay alive, but he's only got 100 HP, and it's first blood back over to Kanavi and the Kha'Zix. It should be picked up here with Golden Guardians taking the money on Stixxay. He's excited, and he just can't hide it. Missing goes over the wall into the brush. He tries to get away. The grand entrance is shut down, and Stixxay gets 2.
Stixxay gets double buffs on top of it as well. This is a disaster for JDG's bot lane. Stixxay has struggled every single lane phase so far, and now in game 3, he's off to the perfect start.
What a banger. I mean, honestly, this series has been so much fun to watch. Golden Guardians do not care who they're playing. They're going to go right at you. JDG, arguably the best team in the world. Golden Guardians are down to scrap. They're down to take these fights. And what kind of a random situation is this, where it's a 3v3 here down on bot side with both teams full invade, no one runs into each other, and then everyone just converges down to the bot lane for this fight. Kanavi has already spent the flash. He knows he's not getting out. Stixxay's already kiting up towards missing because he has the ghost popped. He knows he's going to get the reset. And then, yes, there's the W over the wall here, but who he flashing in has the confidence.
What a
cojones on this guy.
And who he is unbelievable this series. What a legend. Like, take a bow, sir, because this series, the entire way through, who he has honestly been outplaying Missy the entire way through.
Who he is just a monster, man. Awesome start down there in the bottom side for the Golden Guardians. but now we got to see where everything else goes. Huhi is roaming around with River. Golden Guardians like to have Huhi do this. They're okay separating him from Stixxay, allowing him to try to move around, facilitate River, being able to do things like take the scuttle crab, even if they're not sure where the enemy jungler is. And now Huhi's back down here. Stixxay's still got those double buffs a little while longer. And if we check up in the top lane, Licorice has a nice little lead for himself over 369.
Yep, meanwhile in top lane.
Yeah, the story of League of Legends.
Yeah. Both players completely uninvolved in all the action. One has a 4 CS advantage. Top lane experience.
You don't
You
sound
sound so
jaded at all
jealous for
about
a man
that.
as a top laner, yeah.
I'm a fill player, which is actually the same thing as being a top laner because no one wants to play that.
Fair, fair.
I feel like every game I've ever played with you, you pick Phil, and about 90% of them you end up in top. But now it's Golden Guardians bringing River back down to the bottom lane. If Huhi can find a death sentence, they might be able to make something happen here. Now remember, both summoner spells still available on Ruler. Missing can just dash back away to safety, so he's not as worried about it either. And it looks like the Golden Guardians aren't going to get a whole lot out of this one. They're just going to keep River down here long enough to have his presence enable them to shove this wave forward. And in games 1 and 2, you pointed it out both times, Isaac, Golden Guardians have had some bad back timers that caused them to lose out on waves of gold and experience. So this time around, especially with Stixxay starting off like he has, I want to see him clean that up.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to play from this position of power. Na'Vi, though, going to find River here.
River taking the worst part of the trade, but luckily can heal most of it off there with that W, as Kanavi does not want to stick around long enough to clear out the entirety of the control ward.
Yeah, it gets a little bit awkward because, yes, Kennen can make first move, but then you're going to lose the wave to the tower, which can be really painful. Gory, though, hits 6, and now he's moving, so Kanavi has got to leave from this point.
Na'Vi trying to get back into the river here, and yeah, he's got the scuttle crab vision, gives him the extra haste so he can disengage from this situation, and now Gory will just walk back into mid, walks around the slightly longer way. He knows he doesn't want to risk running into Kanavi, and River is once again found by the bug. They try to chase him down with Knight, who wants to use the anchor there. Gory interfering, dropping the taunt, making sure that River's not in any real danger. Gory does lose some farm underneath the turret because of this, and JDG, the mid-jungle, are playing aggressively.
Yeah, putting that pressure on, the Kha'Zix really wants to put that pressure on. Know if you can get this Rengar isolated, he's away from the brush, he doesn't have the Frosty stacked up, it's not going to be a good fight for him. So they're putting that on, but it's good coverage here, from Gory moving over. Not able to find the hook, so nothing going to really happen from this. But it is the flash and the ult from Knight down. So yeah, you lost a little bit of farm, but I think you're pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Knight flashed and doesn't get anything is a big one. It was a really nice job from JDG where they were like, okay, as long as we can play this slow and let Knight push in, Gory has to catch the wave, but just having that little bit of a whoopsie means that they're not quite able to get out of there, but still giving enough of an advantage to Kanavi now where he has that level up, he got a couple of the camps, he can start to move around. Moving down towards his bot lane as well, it's just very tough to end up winning out on this bot lane now that Stixxay has those two kills.
And you can see how much Golden Guardians are ready to try to play around this. River's been down here 3 different times now, counting that level 2, level 1 battle, as Licorice uses the ulti on 369 on the top side. And Dagda, it's exactly what you were describing back in draft. The big man just throws the cask on the ground, says get the hell out of here, and he can walk away from anything Kennen's got to bring to the table.
And it's going to be the case of trying to do that later on in this game as well, especially if you can try and disrupt how much CC Golden Guardians have to offer and find a way onto Stixxay is going to be crucial for JDG. Stixxay stops the reset. River is down on the bot side.
I've got to say, Ruler is so annoying with his Qs. I feel like he hits every single one on Stixxay the entire time, and he's just slowly chipped him down. Despite the fact that they did have that advantage from level 1, they're doing just fine. He's actually up 1 CS. He is getting the push because he has been the one actually chunking Stixxay, and Stixxay may again be forced to take a bad base here. I think he's going to want to try to stay around, farm out this wave, but it's going to be JDG have that pressure on bot side. He went back for the early base, but it should be an early dragon here for Kanavi. He's Kha'Zix, he's level 6, easy peasy.
And this will be the first time this series that JDG takes the first Drake of the game. In both the previous games, it was Golden Guardians 8 minutes in and then at 10 minutes in being the first ones to that neutral objective. But this time around, JDG finally get the better of them there. Usually, if we see the first Drake taken and it's past 8 minutes, the other squad will try to respond with Herald shortly thereafter, and that's what I expect to see Golden Guardians going for as River makes his move.
Yeah, Knight's starting to move over as well, just wants to get full information that Golden Guardians are going for this, but you have Kha'Zix on the way. Missing got that quicker reset, so JDG maybe thinking of trying to make something happen, but
Well, Herald's at 1900. JDG are coming in. They want to contest this. Knight's going to lead the charge. Goes in, finds the anchor. River's got to disengage as Missing goes after him. The Galio ulti comes down, and it's JDG. They forced them back. They took control of the river. They got themselves the objective, and they get the better of the Golden Guardians. But now Gory's coming in with a two-man taunt. Knight stuck here on the front line as he goes for another hook, but he won't be able to land this one. River grabs a kill on Knight, and Golden Guardians get something for their trouble.
Yeah, it's a good kill back, but the play is still positive for JDG. You know, he had these decent base timings with Stixxay, so he was trying to stay around bot to hold the wave for Stixxay on bot side. But at the end of the day, it means he's way late to the play. Missing's there first, so they force the flash, they force the Galio ultimate, they get the Herald. That is more valuable, and now Gory gonna have to flash here as well. So JDG definitely getting more off the play and still have that Herald in pocket to cash in.
Yeah, they're even starting to push into the spot lane as well, but I think Kanavi might be a little bit slow in getting down to try and use the fact that Chap pushed there to use the Rift Herald, but as you say, really nice job from JDG. The kill going across does suck, but it's just full control for the LPL rep at the moment.
LPL's #1 seed, still slightly behind in gold, but that could change very rapidly depending, especially on how much value they get out of this Herald. Where is it going to be dropped? How many plates does it result in? Because we're not even 10 minutes on the timer just yet, they have the entirety of turret plating's duration to choose when to drop it, where to drop it, and that just means that Golden Guardians needs to be aware of where these JDG players are going to be rotating around to.
I am curious, as you say, just on the rotations, if JDG end up like pushing in this wave, sending Ruler to mid lane, and then trying to use the Rift Herald in mid, because I feel like it's so important to try and get that mid lane turret down. As
Look at bot.
JDG, though, are on the way.
Oh man, it's the whole goon squad. JDG bringing down Kanavi and Knight to join up with Ruler and Missing. But as Stixxay makes his way back into the lane now, it looks like the jungle mid duo of JDG just going to head back towards mid instead. Yeah,
you know, they were trying to see if they could capitalize on a roam timing there. You have to remember, the cooldown on the level 1 ultimate from Galio is just infinite. You know, it's like 2.5 minutes. So if you use that thing, you are not going to have it for a very long time. So when they use that over by the Herald, that first Galio ultimate really hurts if you don't get anything out of it. So if Knight can get pushed, he can always threaten those roams to sides because Gory's not going to have it for a long time. And he's playing Ghost Flash. He's not playing TP. So it's not as though he can have that to really answer a play. And that's why when you lose push through mid, it becomes really problematic.
Ooh, nice attempt there at the dredge line. Gory just steps away from all of it, gets back underneath the turret. Doing a pretty good job here, staying even on farm against Knight. The jungle still stays in the favor of Kanavi's Kha'Zix, who has been having a higher tempo than River's Rengar, because River has made so many visits down into the bottom lane, constantly trying to fish for those opportunities and see what he can find there.
Plus the pressure they applied topside. You know, Kanavi harassing him around those camps and taking away the wolves, being able to steal those away definitely does put him down a little bit. But we'll see, you know, how effective River is going to be, especially when he uses his first ulti. That is really want to watch for. Who's he going to target? Is he going to try to do it with Gory? Is it going to be synced up with those other teammates? Because you've really got to try to make a lot from that. I do feel like Golden Guardians comp is super ultimate based, especially for topside.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you need like the jungle mid and support in that equation to actually make it work. Because although you have River who can leap in, yes, he'll have a little bit of CC. You've flashes galore on JDG's side, not to mention like a bunch of the opportunities to even hook yourself away, jump away. Ruler has ult, so I think you need a ton of CC to make this combo work. And that's the part they're struggling with at the moment, is Knight pushing in, JDG now moving down to this bottom side, trying to see if they can get use out of this Rift Herald.
Well, and you can see Golden Guardians, you know, great early level 1, but they're the ones losing plates here on this bot side. It's already down to 2.5 plates. Its charge is going to knock it to 1 remaining. They're trying to push in here. The ultimate has been popped. We'll see if they can find anything, but I don't think they can. River is too far away from the rest of the team.
Well, he tried for it. Not going to get much more than just 200 or 300 damage off of Ruler's health bar. And yeah, that Herald nearly destroying the turret there in the bottom lane. And with Golden Guardians sending all their men down to try to stop that push, Knight just takes advantage of the fact that nobody's back in mid, and he's grabbing more over there.
Exactly. You know, they've lost the plate top, they lost the plate mid, they've lost 4 plates bot now with that Herald, actually 2 plates top, excuse me. So, you know, JDG having the push across these lanes, really making the most of it. This reset from Ruler and Missing, though, may mean that Stixxay can actually get some turret damage back here. We'll see if he can grab a plate or 2 of his own, which would be really nice because it looks like it's going to be solo gold. So he should be able to get 2 plates. We'll see how confident he is to stay around. Is just going to back it up off the 1 plate. Doesn't want to lose too much tempo. They're actually going to look to try to take this dragon here. And with Kanavi just back in base, it should be a Golden Guardians dragon.
Yeah, Missing can try to see if he can be an annoyance here, distract these guys, but with Stixay already moving over to the Drake as well, there's not much that just a support Rakan can do to interfere with this. Knight starts moving down towards this bottom side river as Ruler is also moving up. JDG want to find a collapse here. They're doing a good job, and Stixay's already dead. The Jinx was in the middle of everybody, and that's exactly where JDG want him to be. They'll pick up a bonus on Gory, a 2-for-1 special for JDG.
Where'd he go? He didn't even have a chance. You see Gory go, don't worry, I'm coming, and he's completely wiped off the face of the map before he even gets there.
Yeah, I mean, the damage shield is nice, but Kha'Zix does not care about it. They're going to get this hook in on Knight, but the minions are still there. He doesn't have aggro and the TP to cover as well.
There's just not enough damage. 369 shows up, they lock him down, they burst him. River's already dead. Golden Guardians are just crumbling now.
Yeah, JDG again. Getting more and more. Knight pulled into the tower, though.
Nicely done to set it up for the alley-oop for Stixay's Super Mega Death Rocket, as JDG will get punished for sticking around a little too long this time. Licorice trying to see if there's anything else he might be able to get here, as 369 and Missing both get away to the protection of the turret.
Kanavi starting to move in, though. You do need to be a little bit careful here, as Golden Guardians will actually spot him out here. How much does Kanavi want to go for?
Finds a good chunk on Licorice, but not enough to put him in kill range. Licorice can just get away now.
And we got to see kind of what JDG want to go for and how it's going to be so difficult for Stixay. You know, really when this dive happens, Licorice has to be there with him for the counter engage, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you alive, really. You know, when this comes down, they throw everything on him. Missing even exhaust Stixay while they're going for this full CC. You can see the exhaust even comes down here. There's just nothing he can do whatsoever. Ruler's flying in with the Gale Force. Kanavi's stealthing in on top of him. He's been ulted up by multiple members. Nothing he can do.
And that's the thing, you even see the Lantern go down, and it's a Hail Mary. Like, you're never getting to that with the amount of CC that's there. And you called it out in the Champ Select as Ale. Like, the fact you have this Rakan makes it so difficult for you to play this game as Golden Guardian. Not only the charm, but great knockups coming through for Missing.
Oop, back in bottom lane, they're making a play on Knight. He tries to get back underneath the protection of the tier 1 turret. It's barely alive, but it's alive long enough to give Knight the extra little bit of time to disengage. River coming around from the side, and there they finally got the damage. Licorice takes the kill, and Golden Guardians get one.
And you can see this one, Gold pretty close except for jungle, where Kanavi has opened up a massive lead. He's already on 2 completed lethality items here. So he is going to be such a menace in these fights, and I love the Edge of Knight because it is CC that is really going to spell his doom in these fights. You know, if he's able to stealth around, constantly get these hits off onto these squishy members of Golden Guardians, it'll be really difficult.
Especially for a champion like Kha'Zix. Oh man, Kanavi knows this is just free money, free food. Kill that dude. Kanavi 3-1.
And especially now that you're going to be able to get mid lane turret here for JDG, this is only going to get worse. Ruler, though, can they walk away from this? Missing stuck.
Missing can just dash back over the wall, no problem. Gets away from the chompers. Kanavi's ready to find some more damage. Stixay not dead quite yet. The shutdown. Jinx survived with 15 HP.
Just barely survives, and that shutdown is big. A little bit too confident there was Kanavi. He even spent the flash. He does get the flash off Stixay, though, which is going to make the next team fight a nightmare for him. Really, it's only the flash that is doing anything to keep him alive. And it is going to be the Gore Drinker for River, so I wouldn't be shocked if it isn't that build that I was talking about. You know, just Gore Drinker, Spirit Visage, can go for that. With Kanavi dead, should be a Herald take here for Golden Guardians, but it is an over 2K lead for JDG, so Golden Guardians definitely have some catching up to do, which has not really boded well for them so far in this series.
I was actually curious to see what the game plan here for Huhi, for his mythic was going to be, because I was kind of angling towards maybe you just go for the Age of the Legion, just get more of the shields, a lot of the Iron Solar, even more of the shielding, make sure that you're able to just keep Stixay alive as long as possible. He's still just going for the, hey, maybe if you can run away quicker, we can get away from a lot of this engage. But I think, as you can see, like Kanavi nearly one-shotting Stixay, I think you need a hell of a lot more healing and shielding for Stixay in this one if he hopes to survive the dive that's on JDG's side.
It's tough, though, because it's also a lot of reliance on him for damage, right? You know, so if you just go too much indexing towards those defensive stats, and he won't really be able to do much. I wouldn't have minded Locket, you know, this game from Huhi, but that could be something that could help, but I don't think we're going to get that, unfortunately.
Knight just defending up here underneath the tier 1 turret as River and Gory are both nearby. River's just gonna walk up, try to grab some of these minions here a little bit earlier on. Stixay and Huhi join up with the rest of the team here. They'll drop the Eye of the Herald. They're gonna see if they can just force down this tier 1 turret. They've got a Demolish proc ready to go. Herald charge should pretty much guarantee it. Golden Guardians have a 5-man squad here in the top lane. They're escorting it forward. They wanna get this tier 2 turret money. It's worth so much and could really help them try to close this gap.
TP in from 369 as the charge comes through. They should be able to just clear it this wave to keep themselves safe, but I gotta say, for a team that has, at least in the early stages, hasn't been doing so hot on the map movements when it comes to these plays from Golden Guardians, now they're actually getting the push in mid, getting the dragon in response, so not as big of a win for Golden Guardians.
Oh, River jumps in after Ruler, but now he's got to be careful because Ruler just guns him down. The Zaya's saying, what are you doing, man? The Rengar way too overconfident there.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was intentional. I mean, he used his ult to the ward at first, then jumped from the brush over the wall towards him, so I don't even know if he really meant to do that. That looked just straight up bizarre from River, and now Knight gonna threaten the dive, and this is those windows that JDG can just end the game off of.
And Knight's ready for it. The turret's already down. Huhi'll die here first, and they want more. Gory tries to get away off to the side. Stixay fires off a couple of rockets. Knight wants to disengage before he allows the Jinx to get excited, and it makes it so JDG only get the 1 kill plus the turret.
They get the turret, but they're going to get so much map control, vision immediately being spread out in the Golden Guardian jungle. River, you don't want to be here.
Nope.
You'll just be able to back away, but again, you're looking at Baron that's just spawned. River now wants it though.
River just jumping in over and over by himself. Man, what was that? Golden Guardians trying to chase him now. Missing's gonna get caught. Ruler gets away. Nice use of the feathers to avoid some of the damage coming out from the cannon. Ruler goes on a rampage. Golden Guardians were trying to set something up, but all they do is gift over 2 more kills.
And that's Baron, and that's essentially the series gift wrap now for JDG. As River just really overforcing on a lot of these plays, and JDG so easily responding to it. You know, Licorice trying to come in with that ulti, but Missing had the stopwatch. He's gonna use that. This is a freebie Baron here for JDG. Golden Guardians may as well attempt something, but there's no ult on Licorice. There's no jungler. I don't think there's any chance.
Golden Guardians should back away. They are sticking around maybe a little bit too long here. You can see the buttons popped. 369 wants to go.
369 with the Everfrost. Not gonna catch Stixay there, but again, it's River. And again, it's Kanavi showing him which one of these 2 assassins in the jungle reigns supreme. The jungle diff is an absolute canyon here in this game as 369 picks up another kill on Stixay. And JDG with the Baron, with the lead, with a 5v3 for the next 10 seconds, are unstoppable.
And it's a strong showing for JDG. First time at MSI after they won Spring in 2020, but with no MSI existing, weren't able to go. And now in their first series against Golden Guardians, they were favorites coming in, but you're kind of getting to see why they were so lethal in the LPL.
Absolutely, JDG absolute monsters here, making it look easy against Golden Guardians. Have everything they need to close this one out with a clean 3-0 sweep. Kanavi has been incredible on the Kha'Zix. 3 completed items. River still just has 1 in the garage sale. Not even close to what his opponent is going to be able to get done. And now Licorice looking like he may be caught out.
Trying to get away from Missing. Kanavi ready to follow up his support here, but Licorice can get enough distance in time. At the end of the last game, Dagda, you said, man, if you aren't watching the LPL, what are you doing? This is such a good region. The games are so fun. And talking about the strength of the region, remember that JDG as a whole, it's 369 and Ruler who were first team all-pro. The rest of the team was second team all-pro.
And it's also the fact they've just had massive step-ups in the mid lane, like Knight coming into the team, Ruler coming into the bot lane, like the swap with Yagao and Knight, like the 2 old best friends now swapping on the teams. But I mean, JDG definitely come out the better for it. Knight has been absolutely spectacular domestically, and we're finally starting to get the chance to see, maybe when he's not on Nautilus, just why he was so good back domestically.
Oh! Kanavi just jumps in, 1v2 immediately assassinates Stixay and forces River to be saved by Huhi just to get out.
What's isolation damage? You know, just murder
Don't
the
need
two
it.
of them anyway. And now
Yeah,
JDG
he isolated both of them.
Oh, true. Yeah. If you kill one, the other's now isolated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kanavi's just going off this game. You know, he was the big difference in the early stages for JDG. He was the one putting on pressure even when Golden Guardians were in a better spot. And he is really running away with it now. JDG, as they always do, when they get that lead, they will just close out the game so incredibly fast, and they're looking to do it right here.
Dredge line from Knight finds Gory. The follow-up will not kill him though, thanks to the stopwatch, getting him enough time to walk away. As JDG continue their movement forward. 5v5, they've got a massive gold lead of over 10,000 gold. Now they're just walking it back away, no minion wave left. River isolated from the rest of the team now, locked down by the Everfrost, disengages thanks to the W as Ruler leads the charge. He's gonna be CC'd, but not long enough for Golden Guardians to burst him down. Stixay and the rest of the Guardians now have to hold on 4v5, and JDG are disengaging with Missing and Ruler having a little bit of compromised health.
Yeah, with the knock up and the hook, it means that you don't have the damage,
Oh,
but Licorice!
no, Licorice! He face checks into the Kazakhs. Luckily for him, Kanavi does not have the mana to keep on fighting, so he'll live to see another day.
Unluckily for him, though, the Dragon is up and available, and JDG immediately going to go towards that, put themselves on towards Soul Point. If the TP from 369 after picking up the Shadow Flame immediately in towards this top side, JDG want to make sure they're not letting this pressure up.
I don't think the pressure is going to be relieved anytime soon. JDG just so far ahead, 25 minutes into the game. Once they get ahead a little, they're just so good at continuing to move it forward at a faster and faster and faster pace.
I mean, look no further than the mini-map and look at the vision that gets taken over. You know, you look down towards this bottom side, all the wards getting littered out throughout there. Now they're starting to evade around this top side. They're going to clear out some of the vision on this side. So, you know, really is impressive stuff from JDG. And if they can get a pick, they may just end the game prior, but if not, they're going to control vision around the Baron. They're going to set up for that in a minute and a half, and I think they're going to use the Baron to close out this game.
JDG take down that tier 2 turret in the top lane. That was the last standing structure for the Golden Guardians outside their own base. Now as they have to continue retreating because Huhi's so low, he can't stay in a fight any longer. It means JDG has a chance to just hard force once again, this time onto the tier 3 turret at the top side. Both of the other inhibitors are already down. JDG is about to make it a 3-inhib game.
I mean, when you're this far ahead, you may not even need the Baron. JDG immediately burst out the backline of Golden Guardians, and now they're onto the Nexus turrets.
Nexus turret still standing, but for how long? Minion waves pouring in from 3 different directions as JDG will start working on the top Nexus turret. You gotta keep your eyes on the engaged champs. River's gonna be caught out here in the bottom side, and that should be enough to end the game right here. Missing goes in for the engage, but he isn't gonna find any valuable targets. Liquid's here for the slicing maelstrom, but there's just no damage. There's just no way. There's just no chance for the Golden Guardians. They get 1 kill there with a super mega death rocket. Stixay's trying to fire on these guys, but Ruler puts plenty of damage right back into him. JDG, very low health bars now, trying to finish the game. They don't want Stixay to be able to get excited, and nobody's more excited than JDG. It's a 3-0 win, and they're moving on in the upper bracket.
The top esports flash at the end from Knight, showing that he wants to turn over a new leaf here on JDG. A fantastic performance from Jingdong Gaming coming into this. It was a slow start in game 1 and game 2, but when they got control, they did not let up.
I mean, their team fighting is just so damn good. Ruler in these fights, even when he's just flying forward, he doesn't ever seem to get taken down. He gets so aggressive. He knows the limits of his champion so perfectly. The team is incredible in laning, incredible in team fighting, individually immensely skilled, and so adept at enabling each other to really play to the maximum, to always create pockets of space for Ruler to just go crazy.
JDG is one of those teams where even when they're behind, you look at them and you're just like,
They're still sweating.
yeah, it's just like, okay, so they're down 2,000 gold. So maybe if they fall behind, 3 or 4K more, then it'll be back to an even game state. and it's just ridiculous how good these guys are. They never seem to be affected by things going poorly. They always seem to just be looking for their next opportunity to punish, and I think that's one of the things that really separates the greatest League of Legends teams from the rest, is the fact that you can just approach the game so mechanically, so objectively, that you know, even if things aren't going perfectly, exactly what you have to do to get them back in your favor.
And you can see some of those clips that come out from the LPL, like mic checks, where you'll see, like, back in the day we had one of Knight where it was, hey, watch this, guys, and then he immediately solo kills the enemy laner underneath this tower, and he's like, I'm so good, don't you like me, don't you love me? Like, this is a team atmosphere that definitely lends itself to that in a lot of situations where these guys are so good friends behind the scenes, and a lot of the opportunities where you might have to maybe have that mental blocker, you know, tilt, doesn't really happen when you're able to work the way they do.
And for the Golden Guardians, it was a good attempt to stand up to the super team that is JDG. Particularly that second game was so close to being something really good for them. And now with all of these first round best of fives resolved, we move into the second round, which is regional matchups across the board. So that does mean Golden Guardians are going to have their rematch with Cloud9, who defeated them for that LCS title in spring, to see if they can stay alive.
Well, I think that's going to be the exciting thing about the regional matchup. Sure, you know, myself, like everyone else, loves the inter-regional stuff. You know, I'd love to see some NAU best of fives. But, you know, what I'm really excited for is to see, you know, a team like GG, who I think have actually looked, you know, better than Cloud9 here at MSI. I feel like they leveled up during play-ins. They looked, you know, very competitive in some of these games versus JDG. Cloud9 went into the finals as heavy favorites against Golden Guardians in the LCS. You know, do they still remain those heavy favorites? Are some of these, you know,